Okay, so today we are going to be learning how to do this checked pattern tapestry crochet effect. It's actually much simpler than it looks, and I choose to do half double crochets when I do a pattern like this because it just fills out quite quickly, and I think I like the way the stitch looks compared to maybe a single or a double crochet. I just think it's got these slightly more interesting ribs that go across. So to make this particular pattern here, this is a sort of little top that I'm making. I'm using an Aran weight yarn, so I'm using two colours, and for that yarn I'm using a 4.5mm crochet hook, but you should adapt this hook size depending on whatever weight yarn you've got. It won't have a huge impact on the pattern. You can use whatever yarn you want. Pair of scissors. This is only really for the end of your project. You're going to be carrying the yarn along with you as you crochet. And then I always recommend having a tape measure handy so that you can use it to measure the size of your squares and check you've got the right amount of stitches to make a nice sort of semi-even square with your particular tension. So with that, let's get started. So the first thing you're going to do is you are going to work out how many stitches you need to make an even grid. So for my top here, this is the back panel, I've got 60 foundation chain stitches along the bottom, and I have split those into 6 even squares. So each one of these squares is made up of 10 stitches. Ultimately, what you're looking for is a number of chains that is easily divisible by the amount of sections you want. So if you want 5 sections of 10, maybe you want 10 sections of 5, whatever way around you go, you want to make sure that you are using an even amount. So for these size squares, which are roughly, let's have a look on my tape measure, roughly about 6-7 centimeters. In my half double crochets, I'm going to begin, I have begun this top with 60 foundation chain stitches, and then I'm splitting that into 6 even sections. So what I'm going to start by doing is taking the colour that I would like to begin in, and I'm just going to do a quick foundation chain to work into. You can just do normal chains if you prefer, but I quite like a foundation chain. I think it's a good solid way to start and sets you up nicely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin by just making a slip knot, leaving a decent length tail to make it nice and easy for us to tie in at the end. I'm going to take our hook, pop it into the loop, and then we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. Now you will see your chain stitch is made up of a front and a back. This is the top front of your stitch, and you will see there's 2 loops for each chain stitch. There's little V's there. If we flip this over, you will see there are some vertical back loops. We are going to be working into that first back loop. Okay, so I'm going to pop our hook into that back loop, and then we're going to catch the yarn and pull it through that first loop on the hook only. That makes 2 loops on your hook. We're going to catch the yarn, pull it through the first loop on the hook, and then catch the yarn again and pull through both loops on the hook at the same time. And essentially what that does is it builds a chain stitch and a single crochet stitch at the same time and makes life nice and easy. So we're going to work on our next one now, and we're going to, remember we've got our top with our V stitches here and our back with the single loops. We're going to take our hook and pop it into that back loop, catch the yarn, pull it through the back loop only, so that first loop on the hook. Then we're going to catch the yarn, pull it through that first loop on the hook, which is our chain stitch. And then we're going to catch the yarn again and pull through the 2 loops left on the hook, which is our single crochet. And that is a foundation chain. So we now have 2 foundation chains. I'm going to continue with that until I've got 16 in total. So 16 divided by 4 is 4. My grid is going to be consisting of 4, 4, 4 of the half double crochet in terms of where I change colours, but feel free to adapt this in whatever way necessary, just making sure that the number of chains you do is easily divisible in a way that allows you to have a nice even grid. So here we have our foundation chain with 16 stitches, and what I'm going to begin doing now is our half double crochets back along, which will allow us to make our grid. So to turn our work, I'm going to chain 1, turn, so we're working back along the way we came, and in that first foundation chain I am going to do 1 half double crochet. So to do that, I'm going to wrap the yarn around my hook, pop that hook into the stitch, catch that yarn, put it through the foundation chain stitch, and that leaves me with 3 loops on the hook. I'm then going to catch the yarn and put it through all 3 loops on the hook, and that is a half double crochet. So again, we wrap the yarn around the hook, and in that next foundation chain stitch, we pop our hook in, catch the yarn, pull it through the stitch. We then have 3 loops on our hook. We yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on the hook. I'm going to do that one more time. Now, this is where we're going to change colour. So our chain of 16 is divisible by 4. So I'm going to get my green handy. And what I'm going to do is begin my stitch like normal. So I yarn over, I pop my hook into the next foundation chain, catch the yarn, pull it through to make 3 loops on the hook, and then I'm going to drop this white tail. Okay, so I drop that, and in I bring my green. So what I'm going to do is lay that across my hook, and I'm going to catch it and pull it through those 3 loops on the hook to essentially make the handover between the 2 colour sections. Okay, and what I like to do is have my 2 tails at the back. So that now is our first white section completed. So now we do our next set of half double crochets in the green, and you might just want to tug on that white tail to make sure things are nice and tight. But another thing to remember is you want to carry this white tail, the white that you just dropped, you want to carry it along with you behind where you were working so that you can pick it back up again for the next white section. So with that behind our foundation chain, we're going to yarn over with the green, pop our hook into the chain and making sure that the white is over the top of our hook, and we do our half double crochet stitch. Same again, twice more, making sure we're carrying that white along with us. Now we're in our switch over stitch again, so we've yarned over to start our half double crochet, pop our hook in the hole, catch the green, put it through the stitch to make 3 loops on the hook, and then we can drop the green, pick the white back up and use the white to pull through those green loops on the hook, And we're now ready to begin our next white section. So we yarn over, pop our hook into the next stitch, making sure we're carrying that green along with us, and we do 3 half double crochets. We're now on our final section, so our switch over stitch. So I've yarned over, pop my hook into the stitch, catch the yarn, pull it through, and then I drop the white, pick up the green, and use the green to complete the stitch by pulling through all those white stitches on the hook. So now we yarn over, do our 3 half double crochets in the green, now this final stitch we're not going to be changing colour, okay? We're going to stay on the green because we're going to be turning our work and working along back the way we came. So we're going to do our last half double crochet, but as normal, making sure that white is carried along with us. Ooh, making sure I've gone through both loops. There we go. And then we chain 1 and turn our work. So we're now going to be working back along the way that we came. Okay, so we're going to be doing the same colours as we were before. Also worth double checking that your 2 colours of yarn aren't tangled. We're still going to be carrying that white along with us, but this is the back of our work, okay? So you were just working the front, we're now working the back. When we carry our yarn along with us, we want to make sure that that yarn is now in front of where we're working. Last time the yarn was behind the stitch, but because this is the back, we want to make sure that the yarn is currently in front of the stitch, so that when we flip this over and you can see it with the right side up, all the sort of yarn that you've used to carry along isn't too visible on this side. Okay, so we're going to do our 3 half double crochets, making sure we carry that white along with us. And then in our final one, we have our 3 loops on the hook, and we drop the green and pick up the white. When I drop the green, I want to make sure it's in front of my stitches this time, because remember we're working from the back of our work and this is the wrong side. This is the front, this is the back. So we use our white to pull through the stitches, and then we yarn over and do our 3 half double crochet, carrying the green along with us. We're at another switch over stitch now, so we drop the white where it is, pick up the green, making sure that white is now in front of our work. Use the green to pull through, and then we carry on with our greens. So doing our 3 half double crochets, and then our final one, drop the green, pick up the white, making sure the green is behind our work so we can currently see it here. Use the white to pull through the loops on the hook, and then continuing with our white, so doing 4 half double crochets now for this section, because this is the point where we're going to turn. Chain 1, turn your work. So this can be a great point to start to work out how many rows you need for the amount of stitches you've got. So I'm going to bring in my tape measure, and I'm working in centimetres because I'm from the UK and they are easier. But when we do this, we want to make sure we're not including our foundation chain. So let me zoom in to make this nice and clear. Our foundation chain is just the beginning, it's the base that we've worked from, okay? It doesn't count. So I'm going to make sure I'm measuring this green section here, because this is going to give us a better indication. So I know that it's about 3.5, maybe 4 centimetres wide, 3 centimetres. And currently in the height, we're at about 2. So I think what we're going to need to do is one more row of our half double crochets, and then that will give us a nice even size for our squares. So you pick up our work here, pop our hook back in, and working back along the way we came. So this is now the right side of our work, and we're going to be carrying our yarn behind our stitches, okay, so that it's not too visible from the front. We're going to be doing our 3 half double crochets into the white, and then we've got our switch over stitch, picking up the green, completing the stitch, and then doing our 3 half double crochets. Ooh. Switching over, making sure we're still carrying that yarn behind our work, switching colours, and then doing our 4 half double crochets to complete the green section, still carrying that white behind as we go. So that was our final stitch, and this is as big as my squares are going to be. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start working on alternating. So we've got a green and a white and a green horizontally, and then we've got a white, green, white again on the row above. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to drop the green, pick up the white, and we're going to use that white to do our chain stitch and then turn, okay? Always worth tightening up and pulling on that green string. We are now going to continue working as we did before, but this time it's in white. So making sure we're carrying that string, that yarn along with us. We're going to do our 3 half double crochets. And the yarn's really sticking to me because it's so hot in the UK. Well, it's not that hot, it's like 27 degrees, but for the UK that's mental. So we're now going to switch over, and then we drop our white, pick up our green, complete the stitch, bring that white yarn forward and carry it along with us. 3 half double crochets in the green, drop the green, pick up the white, carrying that green tail along with us, three half double crochets, switch to the green, making sure we're carrying the white along with us, and we do our 4 half double crochets. So if I turn our work over to the right side now, you will see we have started to begin building our grid. So ultimately what we're going to do is just step and repeat this until you've got a section which is exactly the size that you want. So I will do another 2 rows here, and then again I would do the exact same method we did before, where we switched from the white to the green and the green to the white, and just step and repeat, step and repeat, step and repeat. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this is helpful, and I hope you have a lovely day.